shit. Doug Jones!
Well, can I have a copy of that for my funeral?
He lived a long and beautiful life. He is a magical man. Holy shit, man.
Well, you're talking about my outfit. I'm overdressed, aren't I?
This is great.
I was presented at the Makeup Awards just before this, so I had another gig tonight.
Yeah. The Makeup Awards, why were you doing that? I'm just kidding. What an insane... Your career is fucking insane, Doug.
So am I. This works out well.
You really have like a crazy career. Where did you start from? Are you like, what is your origin story? What is your origin story?
I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. Good Midwestern boy. And came out here in 1985 to be in sitcoms. I thought I was going to be well, look at me. I thought, okay, I know that I'm not going to be a romantic leading man, so I have to be funny or scary. So I'll go for the funny. And I thought I would do sitcoms, and then the minute I hit Hollywood land at 6'3½", weighing 140 pounds, the creature with a mime background, which we don't talk about often. You guys don't like mimes. Nobody likes a mime. But the creature effects guys love that. The creature effects makeup people who create monster makeups. So when you have that physical skill set and you look like this with a small bone structure, easy to build on. And boom, I started getting creature jobs. I started with TV commercials.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Now, what was one of your first? Was it
gigs?
the movie?
That was my fourth booking. My first booking was a dancing mummy for Southwest Airlines.
Nice, very
Jealous.
cool, very cool.
And then I did an alien from outer space on a toy commercial, and then I did a nerd for Bob's Big Boy, and then my fourth booking was the Mac Tonight campaign for McDonald's. Hey, $6, hey. Yeah, that was me.
Oh my God!
I know.
We all had those action figures. I think they were McDonald's from
They were
McDonald's.
in the Happy Meal, yeah. So you were eating kids' meals back. How old are you?
Old, very old. 39. I'm 39 years old. I know, 39. I'm gonna be 40 next month. I've looked 40 for 15 years. Everyone's surprised. People are surprised I'm not 50. I should just start telling people I'm about to turn 50, because then they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, you look so good." The first time I ever heard that was when I was doing the Nickelodeon show. I met our producer on the show, and I said, he walked right up to me on the first day of shooting, and he was like, "You know, it is just such a wonder we were able to find a funny 40-year-old that hadn't been discovered yet." And I went, "I'm 28." And he said, "You look like shit." And then he slowly backed up into some bushes and vanished. He didn't want to catch it, whatever it was. Whatever you are doing is wrong. Whatever you're doing right now.
That's a hard 28.
Batman Returns.
Yes.
So you were in Batman Returns.
I was. That was my first studio film. Yeah.
That's a big fucking movie to me.
It was, right?
That's gotta be crazy. That's gotta be a crazy experience.
I was one of Danny DeVito's sidekicks. He played the Penguin in that movie, and he hung out with the Red Triangle Circus Gang, and I was in my name in the credits is Thin Clown.
So creative, Tim Burton.
And it's stuck ever since.
So some titles you can't shake.
That's amazing. That must have been a lot of fun. The people on that set must have been pretty cool.
I'm working with Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer. My makeup was done by Dee Neal, who's like multi-Oscar-winning makeup artist. No, it just was as a first movie gig, you're like, this is how it's done.
Okay. Did you feel like at that point you were like, I've arrived? Was that like your I've arrived moment, or?
I still don't think I've arrived. I don't know. There's always more to do. I don't know. Arrival is like a plateau, a landing place, and I don't want to arrive until I'm dead.
I feel like there's like levels of professionalism that you hit, and you don't always know what those are until you've made it to that level.
Yeah.
like, you know, doing a couple of commercials is one thing, but then doing the Mac Tonight commercial and being like the spokesperson for Coca-Cola, was Coca-Cola or McDonald's?
It was McDonald's.
McDonald's, being
Yeah.
the spokesperson for McDonald's. That's like a fucking huge deal.
Well, it was for me. That was as an early gig. That campaign lasted 3 years, and I did 27 commercials for them. So I bought my first house with McDonald's money. So don't make fun of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still love their dollar menu.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
I love that. One of your early films, Hocus Pocus, which we play a little bit of. Now, who did we have on the show?
We had Thora Birch.
We had Thora Birch on the show, and she told the story that when they wired her up in the air, and Thora Birch had to be like strung up in the air, she had to be up there for quite a long time. She was very uncomfortable, and so Bette Midler flew herself up next to her, just to comfort her, and then sang "You Are the Wind Beneath My Wings" in the sky while holding baby Thora Birch.
Right.
You have to listen to that episode of the Nighttime Show. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It's a great episode.
My first night of work, I was on my way. I was driving myself to work, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go meet Bette Midler." I was a big fan of hers already, anyway. And on the radio, the car radio. Yes, I still have one. I heard "The Wind Beneath My Wings" on the radio. I'm like, oh my gosh! Worked in line with Bette Midler. We're this far from each other, and I'm like, it's her. She doesn't have any eyebrows. She's got buck teeth. It's awesome. And then on the way home, I heard "From a Distance" on the radio.
My God.
So it's like, so that, you know, sometimes you pinch yourself and think, is this really happening to little old me?
Oh,
That kid from Indiana?
I love it. That's so awesome. What about your family? How did your family react to you being in movies and being on screen and being characters? Like, how did they feel about
Well,
it?
my dearly departed mother never believed what she kept calling me a struggling actor until long into it. You know, oh, this is my son, the struggling actor. Mom, just drop the struggling. There's a word that doesn't belong there anymore, but she, but she, you know, and she wasn't a fan of especially the genre that I'm in. She don't, anything scary or she didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
So, but she was at the beauty parlor one day. They called them beauty parlors in her era, and some lady was talking about Hellboy, and my mom's like, oh, wait, I think my son was in that. So the lady's like, oh my gosh, what did he play? Well, let's see, I don't know, his character's name was, but he was the fish guy. But and the beautician's like, your son is Doug Jones? And so my mom was like, yeah. And she did, this is when it finally hit her, like, oh, people know him. Oh. So then the entire place is like, this is Doug Jones's mom. Look, So that's when she finally dropped the struggling part. Yeah. And then,
That's when you arrived.
that's when I arrived, when Mom bought it.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like sometimes parents they just don't understand. I feel like sometimes parents and relatives though when you're playing like a character and you're in makeup and in a costume and stuff, they're like, but they don't know it's you. You know, they can't see your face. How are they gonna know? And like, do you ever struggle with that because you have played so many fascinating characters? Do you ever struggle with wanting to have your face shown, or do you feel comfortable? Because like sometimes your face is shown in some of these characters, but do you ever feel like I don't want to do this because it's not going to be enough me in it?
Oh gosh, no.
You always feel good. The more the better.
I've done both. I've done lots of humans, done lots of creatures, but the humans I've played have been lesser known roles. Like you know, they fade. I did guest starring on this or doing an indie that. But so I get a dual life, right? I get to do something like this, because you all know my resume. Thank you for that.
Of course.
So I can go to Starbucks right after this, and nobody's gonna know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I kind of get the best of both worlds. Now last year was quite a year for me between The Shape of Water and Star Trek Discovery. Now I had a big press year, so this face was being interviewed a lot, and I was doing a lot of TV. I was at the Oscars and yada yada. So that's when people can marry this face to the rest of my characters I've played.
Oh,
with that WeberNet device you have now, you know, the kids are using. So that kind of put, I'm recognizing airports now more than I used to be, that kind of thing. But I still don't create a mob scene, my gosh.
Although it's interesting, we had
That's
Anson
good.
Mount on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He
Yeah.
plays Captain Pike on Star Trek Discovery. He talked about how at the cast dinner, he had dinner with you, and then he said he didn't see you for 3 months, he just saw Saru.
That's right.
For the next 3 months, because the way the schedules worked out, he only saw you in makeup.
Yeah.
And then like 3 months later, one day, like you wrapped early and you were out of makeup, and he's like, "Oh my God, Doug, I haven't seen you in so long." You're like, "It's been 15 minutes."
Many minutes ago, yeah. I go to a lot of rap parties at the end of a movie or TV season, and I have to introduce myself to the entire crew that I've been working with for 6 months, yeah.
What was the first role that you jumped into where you felt like you completely vanished within it? Like, what was like a role in a movie where once you were in the character, you were like, I'm vanished inside this character.
That would be, as you can see, I'm a nervous boy who talks with my hands a lot.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to do any of that when I played the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four scene. That was the most pulled back, toned down, throttled back confidence in the eyes and nowhere else.
Was that was prosthetics on your face?
Yeah, everyone thinks it was a CG thing. It looked CG-ish because they did a coating over me in post-production, but that was me in a rubber suit and makeup every day.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Now there's a part of the movie where it was to where the silver coating went away. I was powered down and lost my surfboard and and I was tarnished. That was more of just the makeup. Yeah.
Wow.
When you see it again, you'll see the difference.
So, throughout your career, how many days have you spent in a makeup chair?
I should have started counting at the beginning,
Because
right?
we had Michael Dorn on, who played Worf on Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, and he estimated that throughout all the movies and all the shows that he did, he says he spent at least 1,000 days in a makeup chair. And I was curious, I was like, Doug Jones is the only other person I can think of who might come close to that kind of number.
I've never, it's 33 years of this, and I've never tallied it up. So, and now that I'm honest, this is my second TV series. I was also an alien on Falling Skies for 3 years. So between that and this, I'm already still in my second season. I'm running for him. I'm coming for him. If I haven't passed him already, I don't know.
Can you tell a story from Hellboy that I remember you telling that is one of my favorite things ever, about how you had a lack of vision?
Oh, God.
Do you know the story?
No, there's two. But one involves Ron.
Yeah,
Coleman?
yeah, that's
Is that the one?
Yep.
Okay. This is Hellboy 1. Not only, my Abe Sapiens eyes are up here, so the fish eyes, and so I'm looking through the little tear duct areas, right? So I can see no periphery at all. We were walking down a corridor and had to make a left turn, walk down another corridor, and stop, and then see the delightful John Hurt on a staircase, and Hellboy says, "Father." That was our thing. Okay, so I had to walk through this a couple times because not only can I only see this, but I'm wearing goggles over that with water in between 2 panes of glass, and it was cold in this building, so they were fogging up. So what little vision I had was like, So I had to, as long as I could see Ron Perlman's shoulder right here in front of me, I'm like, okay, I'm good. That's where I'm supposed to say off of his right shoulder, I'm good. So we're walking down a corridor, good. The cameras are rolling, it's our first take. We make our left turn, good. I'm on point, yes, it's all going well. He stops before I thought we were supposed to. So now I'm like, camera's still rolling, nobody's yelling cut, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, I get my hand on his back so I can get the trajectory of his back to make sure I know which way I'm supposed to be facing. So I'm kind of like, got it, good. And then Guillermo del Toro yells, cut! And the entire crew bursts out laughing. So he says then, Doug Jones, can we do one more take without you filling up Ron's ass? So apparently my hand was lower than I thought. and the cameras were back there shooting this way. Thanks for asking.
That's amazing. Any other Hellboy stories?
Well, another vision problem one was in Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, that you saw the singing clip from. Right after that clip, we're back in Hellboy's chambers and we're getting a little tipsy on the Tecate beer. That's the last one. We're talking about women. And we had my love interest in that movie was Princess Nuala, played by Anna Walton, and she was in our care in the BPRD building. And the alarms were supposed to go off, and then that's when I knew, oh my goodness, something's happening to the princess, right? So this was another one. It's hard to explain. We were leaning on the edge of Ron's bed, and Selma Blair was asleep in it as Liz Sherman, right? So when the alarms go off, I'm supposed to walk to the edge of the bed and then make another left turn and then stop at a spot, look up and say, the princess, right? So, but when I look up, I can't see anything down here, right? So I don't know where my mark is to stop at. Usually it's a piece of tape on the floor.
Right.
Well, I couldn't see the piece of tape, so they put a sandbag down there so I could feel and stop. That's where I'm supposed to stop. The princess, right? So we got it all mapped out for, okay, cameras roll, and we're sitting there talking, and the alarms go off, I walk up here, I walk over, I hit something, and I think, well, again, it was a bit early. That's not my mark, but I felt it. I'll stop. The princess. And I kept feeling with my leg, I kept feeling my leg. Like it didn't feel like I was, it's gone, I can't feel the sandbag anymore. So, again, cut! Crew bursts out laughing, and I said, where did my sandbag go? And Selma Blair said, that wasn't your sandbag, you kicked one of Hellboy's cats. He had like 50 cats running around his bed. So one of them went sailing across the floor. So I'm sorry, cat people. She lived. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
She's got at least 8 more lives. She'll be fine.
Let's talk a little bit about Guillermo del Toro. This guy is the sweetest guy in the whole damn world.
Yes.
How did you first meet him? What was the introduction like?
Well, Guillermo del Toro he's my favorite director I've ever worked for, and every other director knows that they're vying for second place. They'll never of course, take his place. But it was Mimic. The movie was Mimic in 1997. I got one of those referral phone calls from the creature effects people saying, hello, this is a phone, by the way. Remember that? In the middle of the afternoon, like, are you free to do a night shoot tonight on some reshoots on a movie called Mimic? And, out of work acting, yes, I'm free. So I ended up downtown LA on the top of a building, like a 3-story brick building, looking over the edge of it with a rain machine hitting me in the head and wearing a bug mask and a trench coat that looked like sort of like bug wings. So, and the crew was down on the ground, so I couldn't even see anybody. I just hear megaphone, action, and cut. It's like, no. The second day, I was on for 3 days. The second day was in the afternoon on a green screen set. We were doing some close-ups, and minimal crew, and lunchtime comes, and the director sits right across this table from me, and it was Guillermo del Toro. And he sat down with his tray and just said, Soda, tell me everything you've been in before. So I started listing off my resume, and I told him that I was in Tank Girl, and I'd done Hocus Pocus by then, and I had done Batman Returns, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was the leader of the Gentleman in the Hush episode.
Creepiest episode ever. Watch that.
So we were connecting on creatures and monsters and creepy things, and he knew all the makeup artists I'd ever worked with before. Oh, is he a nice guy? Yeah. So it's like, wow, we're connecting on like 2 12-year-old boys talking. Like, And so he asked for my card afterward, and then 5 years later, in 2002, when they were prepping for the first Hellboy movie, I got a call to be
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So carry a business card. I think that's what we've learned.
I met Guillermo del Toro at the Kung Fu Panda 2 premiere.
Of course you did.
He had a bunch of kids with him, and all his kids knew the kid show I was on. And so he's like, Steven, they really like the show. And I was like, oh, great, thanks. And he was like, hey, call me, I have a movie, we should talk about things. And I was like, okay, and he gave me his cell number, and I was like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I texted him, and I was like, hey, it's Steven Glickman, and he was like, hey, I'm doing a movie called Pacific Rim, you need to come in for this movie. And I was like, what the fuck is happening to me right now? And so I got to go in for a role in Pacific Rim that got cut from Pacific Rim. But I got to like audition, I got to go a bunch of callbacks, and then it got written out of the script. And then I ran into him like 6 months later on the Disney lot. And I go, what are you doing at Disney? And he goes, oh, Steven, fucking, they are the worst and the best. This studio, you have to work with Disney, and you can hate it all you want, but you have to fucking work with them. They will stop at nothing to get you. They pay everything. You have no choice. You have no choice. You will work for them at some point. Trust my word. Trust my word. And then he hugged me and got in his car and drove away, and I've never seen him again. But how fucking awesome! Like the nicest guy.
No,
where
the
you're
nicest
like,
guy,
I can't. Why would I have any interaction with him? But he was just.
And
there.
I love that your accent for Guillermo del Toro is the exact same accent you use for Fabio.
It's a little
The
different.
way they say Steven is exactly the same.
Steven, listen, Fabio. That's what Fabio sounds like when you.
But
talk.
you did work for Disney.
I did work for Disney.
Yeah.
I worked on Stuck in the Middle on Nickelodeon, on Disney Channel, on the Disney Channel, and it was something else. Anyway, this is a perfect moment. I'm sorry.
Can I ask a couple Star Trek
All right,
questions?
ask a couple. Star Trek.
Give me 3. All right. What was it like? And don't bitch at me about spoiler alerts. You've had a year to watch the first season, all right? No complaints after.
Ask quickly before
Okay,
all
quickly.
the beautiful women leave.
What was it like being the first main character on Star Trek to get eaten?
But it wasn't really me.
Yeah, it was Mirror.
Mirror Universe, but
Yeah.
that was someone in wearing my makeup that looked.
Oh, it wasn't you?
Because the Mirror Universe Saru was in the captain's chambers.
Yeah.
And then they transported to another ship where that happened, where the eating happened. So it wasn't me, but it was.
Oh, it was another Kelpian.
But it was another Kelpian, yes.
Okay.
And, yeah.
When you did the short trek
Yes.
on Saru's home planet, that's to me was sort of added the soul of Saru, like where you really learn what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Was that something that you knew ahead of time that you were going to get to do, like before you filmed the season, or they sort of sprung it on you?
I know that. The short treks. The short treks were a series of short films. They did 4 of them.
Yeah.
That showed up on CBS All Access between season 1 and season 2, just as a to get you all to speed here. So that short trek, mine is called The Brightest Star, and it gives my backstory. It shows you how I left my planet of Kaminar, and how I became the first Kelpian to ever join Starfleet. And it was a very heartwarming backstory. I'm glad we got to tell, because I didn't even know what my backstory was and how I did become the first Kelpian, and that
was great.
Short answers all those questions.
Okay, last Star Trek question, Steve.
All right.
Okay,
I went on to ask Oscar a question.
I went on the Memory Alpha website, which is the Star Trek nerd website, and I looked up
I don't
every
even
single...
know this site. What?
Memory Alpha? It's, so I looked up every single Vulcan that has a name. There's 107
All the cool
Vulcans that
kids know
have
about
names.
Memory Alpha.
I did not know about Memory Alpha, Doug Jones.
So I looked up, there's 107 Vulcans that have names, and I looked at the photos of all 107. There are Asian Vulcans, there are black Vulcans, there are Caucasian Vulcans, they have blondes, brunettes, and people with black
Not
hair.
everybody.
I'm saying, out of all 107, there are 0 red-headed Vulcans, and I was wondering, what can we do to solve that problem? So do you know any redheads that might
That's
be
an answer I don't have, by the way. Just I don't know.
It's a control
well.
statement.
I'll try to campaign for you.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's my shot.
On that note, we really need to do a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to the Buttress Pillow Boudoir, where you will learn the many wonders of the most beautiful pillow in the world. 1. The sweet spot. The space between the thighs and cheeks is designed by our scientists to
Ladies
gently
and gentlemen, this is our sponsor, the Buttress Pillow. The Buttress Pillow is perfect for if you're one of those people, if you can only fall asleep in someone else's ass. The Buttress Pillow has you covered. We have a brand new one right here. And I think
Because you don't want a used one.
who wants a buttress pillow? I know exactly who's gonna get it.
I would be happy to get that.
Right here with the great sleeves, the lady Grace.
Connie.
Connie, yeah.
Oh, Connie.
Guys, the buttress pillow is great. If you have it, if you ever need help falling asleep, try falling asleep in someone's ass crack, because it will do the trick. And that's been a word from our sponsor.
Wow.
Okay, what was it like winning an Oscar, huh? Transitions! Oh, yeah. What was it like being in a movie
Buttress
that
Pillow is
won
a hard
Best
act to
Picture?
follow,
I know.
even with an Oscar story.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
No, but I did not personally win a statue.
No, I know. The movie won Best Picture, though.
Won Best Picture and also won 3 other awards, including Best Director for our dear friend Guillermo del Toro.
Hell yes.
With 13 nominations, which was 1 away from the record. So I was very, very proud to be in that last year and a part of that whole ride. And to stand up on stage with the entire team when the Best Picture was announced, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, you deserve it, man. You made that movie. I mean, that movie is all you, buddy. It really is. It really is. You're a phenomenon, man. Let's take questions from the audience. Let's get some questions, and then we're going to do a special thing. Questions.
Great. Also, I'm gonna, as I come to you, I would like to ask you, with all of these creatures, the same way that some actors have trouble letting go of characters, do you have trouble letting go of creatures at all?
Not even, no. I'm very good at clocking out at the end of the day.
Cool.
Sweet. Hey, Doug, I'm Zach. Super big fan of yours. You're awesome, man.
Thank you.
Kind of question for you. You've done a lot of bizarre characters before, obviously, and that's kind of your line of work. But have you ever like gotten a script or done a scene where you were thinking like, man, this is like some weird shit even for me?
Thank you for asking.
I feel like Legion a little bit. That's some scary shit.
Yeah, I guess so. My jaw's gonna drop down to. I will say this: that if there's any independent filmmakers in the room, the script that I do say no to is the one that I keep getting at least 3 or 4 times a year. We're a bunch of half-naked teenagers running around the woods and smoking pot and having sex, but here comes Doug Jones to kill all of us one at a time. That's the movie I say no to. It annoys me. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I've got a question right here.
Hi, Doug.
Hi.
All of us here are from McDonald's, and it's really awesome to hear that you were like related to that whole Mac Tonight thing. And I've been with McDonald's for 37 years.
Whoa! Hey, how many people are here from McDonald's? Holy shit! I love this show
So
so much.
this team here has worked for McDonald's for since they started as teenagers. So it's pretty awesome. And so it's great to hear, just the respect that you have for that whole time, when you went through that.
I do. They're very good to me.
Yeah, so we want to get a picture with you before you leave.
Okay, to do.
I love that.
Anyone actually have that's really nice, a question? Great.
My guys are walking around here.
This man is very excited to ask you something.
Yes.
Hi, Doug. I had the pleasure, my name is Jimmy, by the way. I had the pleasure of giving you a hug once.
Once.
And it was cheek to cheek, and I noticed that you have super phenomenal soft skin. With all of those prosthetics and makeup that you put on, do you have a skin regimen that I can copy?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Good question. Nice question.
Beauty secrets with Doug Jones.
This is gonna buy my beauty secrets.
Start a YouTube page. Get it.
My YouTube channel. Yeah. By the way, that question was asked by Jimmy Timaneros, who was also in 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Yes. He was on our first 2 episodes, on the Starship Shenzhou, and then he got blown out the side of the show. Anyway.
I think he's about to get a hug from Matt.
No, do you know what? Wearing prosthetic makeups and then having it removed every day, I'm exposed to a lot of chemicals and a lot of harsh things, but the exfoliation that happens is constant. I'm going to be 59 in May. I know.
So, oh my God, I look like shit.
I have 2 questions over here.
Yes.
Hi, Doug. I'm over here, over this way. Hi.
There we are.
I'm Shauna. And one of my family's favorite movies is Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
I grew up watching it. And I know Bette Midler talks about reprising and bringing back Hocus Pocus. Would you ever redo Billy Butcher's?
Oh, heck yes. I would love to. Oh, yeah.
So you're in for a reunion.
Oh, totally, yeah. Well, we had our 25-year anniversary this past year in '08, and we did a big TV special on the Freeform channel for it, and everybody showed up for it, at least on tape. There's been talk of doing a sequel for many years now. They were talking about maybe doing a sequel that takes place 20-some years later with the kids grown up and having kids of their own. I would love to be, and Billy was going to be a part of that scenario that I was told about. So where that is now, I don't know. Let's hope. But yes, I'm totally in.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Mike Glazer.
Yes, sir.
Can you come up on the stage?
Yeah, yes. Can we do have time for one more? This person was waving their hand.
One last
Great.
question. Yeah,
Thank you so
We gotta
much.
move on.
Hi, honey. I'm Georgianne. Listen, I watch Hocus Pocus every year. I love it. And there was one scene where you take the blade and you go across your mouth, and there's like a puff of dust. Yes, that comes out of your mouth. I'm just wondering, what is that dust?
Right. It was dust. It was called Fuller's Earth. It's a sterilized dust that is actually purchased, and so you can use it in your mouth. This is before the days of CG being what it is now, right? So that means that I had a retainer on my upper and lower mouth that clicked in to hold a latex sheath that protected my mouth from the moths and the dirt. And because moths, if they get moist, they don't fly. It's true. I learned something that day. Right. So, if you have time for a story, what happened on take one of that disaster? There was a guy on set that was the moth trainer. He had little tweezers and a cage. Yeah. So he placed them in our mouth gingerly, and then at the last minute. But it had to be everything else had to be ready to go, or because the clock started ticking on the moisture issue the minute they went in there. So. They put them in, and then they kind of tack glue my stitches back on so that I can run the knife blade over them and have them pop open without much effort, right? So, and they're ready to go. I can feel them like on.
Oh my God.
That's not appetizing at all. And then so all of a sudden we're ready to go, and poof, a light explodes. And we're like, oh. So now we're going, uh-oh. So while they try to replace this or repair, they get a ladder out there. I can feel, when there's a foreign object in your mouth, your body says intruder, intruder, salivate, salivate. So I can feel the level rising. And so before long, okay, here it comes. So they're ready to go, and I cut it open, and the dust had turned to mud, and the moths were like kind of surfing out of my mouth on it. So we did a little reset, and take two's the way you saw in the movie where they flew just the right way, and it was all perfect. Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
I need a minute. Glazer, get up here. Get up here. All right. So Glazer and I and Mike and Matt here, we were all talking, and there's something that you do in almost every single movie, and a lot of the big movies, and it's all with your hands, and especially in Pan's Labyrinth, where you played with the eyeballs on the Nightmare Fuel. When you played Nightmare Fuel, forever. So what I was hoping is that you could teach our entire audience at the same time how to do the hands on the eyes.
Pale man hands.
Pale man hands. Can we see what the Pale Man hands look like? Okay, all right, so that's what we want you to do, is to teach us all together how to do it, and then we'll all do it together in unison. A couple times, we'll do it all a couple times. All right?
First of all, it's not that hard. I don't know why we're doing the class, but
I'm ready.
So pretend
limber up, limber up, limber up. You're getting a lesson from Doug fucking Jones.
I'm gonna lift Liz up. How did you know? The eyeballs are already in there. Okay, so it's like they're already in, and so you're gonna lift them up and reveal them like this, huh? And then do a finger spread like that. That's what I'm talking about. So it's like it's an up and a spread.
Okay, let's all do it together. Ready? Let's turn the music on. Do the music. Go. Let's do the music. Do scary music. Ready? Everyone together. Everyone has to do it together. We're gonna film it from this angle. You ready? Here we go. You ready? 1.
Oh, that's music.
Music, scary music. Everyone together.
Yes.
One more time for the gram. One more time for the gram. Play the music. Here we go. One more time for the gram.